I've hit the button. I've hit the button. I've hit the button. We're here. Yes, we're here. Chris,
you had a joke.
You've got lots of jokes. Hit us with a joke.
So I was watching the Olympics recently, and I was quite surprised to read that Aladdin had been banned from the flying carpets race.
Why is that?
Well, apparently he'd been using performance-enhancing rugs.
Brilliant.
It's good.
It is good.
You were so proud of that.
I know. It's so good.
I nearly didn't get it out.
I thought we weren't. We weren't allowed to talk about things that would date the podcast.
Well, Olympics is a big cultural event. But
just wait till we'll tune in 4 years' time.
Yes, for LA.
Welcome to the Good Brand Podcast. My name is Stewart Steele. I work for a company called Good Brand Consultants, And occasionally what we'll do is we'll sit and when we've got a wee bit of time, we'll sit and talk to some people. Normally these two people, let me introduce you to Mr. Chris Lumsden.
Hi, hello.
And Miss Julie Murdoch.
Hello.
And what we'll do is we'll talk about bits and stuff that we do in our day-to-day job around brand. And this is our first continuing series of stuff.
Yeah. This is the second part of Stuart's article. Everyone's waiting with bated breath.
I bet they
Digging for business trends.
So just a quick recap. We do a wee review on the emails that we get in, go, hey, what about this, what about that? And we found that there were some trends. The first one in the last podcast, I'll leave a link in the notes, which was around look and feel, and it's feeling updating. How do you do that without making it feel alien or not part of you? So we talked about that last time. And this today, the question that came in was, to quote the website, our product range has grown and grown over time, but now it feels confusing. We're worried that we're losing opportunities because of that. How do we bring it under control?
It's a good question.
It is a good question.
What's your hot take?
I think the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Nobody's decided.
Good to get that in there early.
That's one of Stuart's phrases. Yep.
Well, nobody's decided. You know what we should do with our product? Like make it a bit confusing for our customers.
Huge and massively complicated.
Yeah, it happens.
It does happen, but
unintentionally.
Unintentionally, because it's that's the road to hell, and it's full of, as I've said before, good intentions. And so what happens is that suddenly you kind of look back, and it's usually somebody new coming into the role. It's kind of looking at it, going, I have no idea how to navigate this. And then what will happen is there'll be key people within an organization. Well, let me explain. The 38924/Z, now the ZN relates to the warehouse it's in, the UK relates to the market it's in, the 240 relates to the voltage, and on it goes and on it goes and on it goes. And then you've just got masses of these things, and it just becomes a bit of a nightmare. And that's how generally.
Or it can happen with acquisitions and stuff as well.
Yep. Yeah, because I think that's kind of two. There's kind of two issues in there. One around naming, which was a topic for a different pod.
Correct.
And one around how you actually end up with these overinflated portfolios in the first place, which we commonly see from businesses that have grown through acquisition, some either rapidly or just over time, and before you know it, you look in the rearview mirror and see a big old mess of products that even your
chickens.
What the chickens says Norm in the Bumble.
Yeah, that's what he says when he looks at the product one.
And says, it's a common thing that we see, particularly in B2B.
And I think I've got 3 stats.
Bring them, fire them out.
Because I've been writing about this, but we've said them before, and you've mentioned one in your article. So because it isn't, the point is that the B2B sale is a complicated, involved sale. It's not a light-hearted purchase. So. I think this is often the challenger sale, isn't it? So, you say here people are 57% of the way through a buying journey before they even reach out to a brand or a business for help, which is quite interesting. So they're doing a lot of research and thinking themselves.
Self-education.
Yeah. But we also know that there are quite a lot of people involved in making a decision. On average, 5.4 people involved in making that decision. So you've got to reach a consensus there. Right, that's hard because they'll all have different needs and wants as buyers. And then finally, there's another stat that somewhere between 40 and 60% of these purchase journeys end up in no sale at all, no transaction. So that tells me that that's a really complicated, complex thing. So what are you doing going to market with a complicated portfolio? You need to make that, give yourself the best chance possible, right?
Yep. And I know a couple of examples where you go on, and it's a company that does pretty much the same thing, but there's 130 versions of it. And each one has got a place, that it's been built up by going, what would be good if we could get one that could work underwater? Do you know what would be good? It would be good if one had a thing in the... But from looking at it, and there's 130, because they've got to all go on the website, they've all got to go on the website.
Equal billing.
They've all got to go. It's just then really difficult for anybody to kind of go, well, which one's the right one for me? And so during that process, if somebody out there is making that easier for you, and you know that you've got to sell this complicated thing up to the other 4.4, you're going to go, I'm done. There's somebody else going to make
You're
this
leaking
easier.
value.
Yeah.
I was going to say, do you think it's fair? Because to say that that's disproportionately the case when we're talking about B2B tech companies who tend to be engineer or product-led organisations?
I think that sometimes it's, my good friends, the sales team will go, you know what we're missing? I think there's a bit of that will come out. We go, what they're missing? I think there is sometimes...
Do you know
the
what we can
product
do?
team, you know what we can do? Is that kind of thing. So I think it can be a combination of the two. They just kind of go, you know what, let's do this. And we can do it because I think there's 3 people I've talked to in the last 2 years that would really want one of these.
Right.
And then you kind of go, all right, let's have
so
it.
So they
and
believe there's a use case.
Chuck it on the website. And it might well be that is the case, but that's not what you should be leading with. If it's variance on that product theme, it just becomes too complicated.
So one of the other things that we've written about a lot is about, because this cuts into brand architecture, doesn't it? Which is a lot of the confusion comes from the fact there are multiple products, as you said, but also the dreaded sub-brands and different things with different logos and different uses, but it's maybe not immediately clear, which just hardwires confusion.
And different naming conventions,
the consumer's mind. That's difficult. And a lot of the time we do tell clients or people that the most of the equity or all of the equity is in the top brand, the mother brand, the main brand, not in the sub-brands. And naming conventions can then hang off the back of that are more descriptive, as you said. It's all about just making it simple to navigate.
But a lot of this thing is it's not difficult, but it's complicated because the reason of these sub-brands, and you said earlier on, Julie, about the acquisitions, is that there's, as much about, I don't really care about the brands until you say, we'd like to get rid of one of them then. And then they go, no, wait a minute, you don't understand that. That's the brand that opens doors. That's the brand that, gets me the meeting. Or
is stronger in one market. It might not mean anything on the East Coast, but on the West Coast, it's it's a leading market leader. Yeah. So it's regional variances.
Yeah. So you've got all that to contend with, when actually then what you've got to do is a little bit of discussion with your customers to go, do you care? What is it, because what is it you're looking for? And it's normally not a brand. It's normal, as such as the product and what it can do, and then the reassurance that the brand can give you. So sometimes there is work in that.
I think it's also the understanding that customers can deal and teams can deal with change, but we always say it just needs to be managed well. And as a client, needs to be kind of led from the top, and you need to kind of lean into that pain to a certain extent, because there will undoubtedly be pain when it comes to culling brands or culling products or retiring technologies or whatever it may be. But it's
I was going to ask you, Stewart, because you say we tend to focus on the main products and organize everything else around it. Is there a rule? Is it an 80-20 thing? How do you identify which products take hero position on the website, if that's the medium or the channel, and which ones are stacked in a list that are kind of, click here for more?
No, to be honest, that normally comes down to what the client knows. It's the client knows what the big hitters is and what they should be going out with. It's very rare that we say we think it's that product that's there. They tend to know. It's just there is a lot of it's easier to leave something on than to take something off and go and base them. And there's also the thing, but look, if we've got that there, that shows that this particular core group, we're interested in them too. Sometimes it is about sacrifice. It's about going, you know what, that might be another way of selling. That might be doing account-based marketing to say we have a very specific niche for you guys or everything else. But that general kind of somebody who's maybe kicked off with Google going, I'm looking for a fan widget, and then they start Googling that and then go into there. They want the thing that's up front and everything else and take it from there.
Yeah, and I think we've got a client I'm thinking of that do this arguably quite well, where they have a software product where the core of their technology is license based, and it's what they go to market with for a number of, tailored for a number of different categories. But that product can ultimately be tailored any number of ways for a specific customer, but they don't then go and put all of those variants on their website and talk about them. The core technology they talk about is the same. And
so
then
what do they do? Do they hero a couple of different industries?
Yeah, well, they hero they talk about the value and the benefits of the technology, and I guess tailor that to different markets or different customer groups, best fit customers, as it was spat out through the product positioning exercise. But then when they're talking to a specific customer, which will be a high value customer, there's a number of opportunities for them to tailor that product. So their developers will tailor it specifically for that customer use case, but they don't then go and talk about that customer use case on their website in terms of how it's still
quite bespoke.
It just becomes very and I mean that's maybe a slightly different thing because it is, I guess it's more bespoke rather than a variant of the product, but it's the same principle.
Because none of these things are set in stone. There are no rights or wrongs, right? It's about how you understand where the value. I suppose it all comes down to where the value
which is our next podcast.
Yeah, which is about understanding where the value is and optimizing your range or your offering for it.
But
right?
to Julie's point, there are some organisations where it would, if they didn't have the discipline, they would put up the variant that they've done for that customer up on the website and say, we've done this because it's new and exciting and you never know. But there is some discipline to go, this is a core product that can expand or move off or shift off without placing it on the website.
And when the 57% of that journey is complete and the customer then contacts the salesperson can then have the conversation about how the opportunities to tailor and make that a bespoke piece of a solution for them. I think it's just understanding where the customer is in the journey.
It reminds me of another piece we wrote about the fallacy of marketing is that consumers want more choice, customers want more choice. When actually they want
the problem solved.
Fewer choices, maybe, and more confidence.
Yeah.
But in the choices, but there is evidence to back that up.
Yeah.
Right? When menus are consolidated or options are consolidated, sales values go north, right?
Yeah.
So there is something in the sacrifice.
Yeah.
Lean into it.
Yep.
I think this particular topic is really interesting. I could talk about this.
You love a wee bit of architecture.
I do. It's my favourite bit.
I know.
It's also probably one of the most challenging things we deal with clients because of the impact that it has across the business, and everybody has each one of those 5.4 people has a slightly different objective, perspective, and goal at the end of the day. So,
and that's around, I suppose, also then communicating that value for each of those groups.
We'll get on to value in our next pod.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the next thing. It's all about the value.
Okay.
Right.
That's a nice short one.
Oh, I love a wee short one. Right. Okay.
Shorty.
Right. Jokes later on. Join us next time for jokes and some brand chat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Watch the roads.
Mind the roads. Bye.